tonight's big stories, Negros Oriental Representative Arnie Teves and 12 others are now being tagged as terrorists because of their alleged involvement in the killing of Governor Roel Degamo.
Why did Bulacan experience heavy flooding? Well, aside from rainfall from recent typhoons, local officials say some big-ticket infrastructure projects are to blame.
And just 2 days after their historic run at the FIFA Women's World Cup, the Filipinas will begin their new journey without head coach Alen Stajcic. We'll be speaking to some of the players later on.
Welcome to the show. I'm Regina.
I'm Gretchen Ho.
And I'm Shawn.
Embattled Congressman Arnie Teves is back in the headlines, but for all the wrong reasons. He's now being tagged a terrorist along with 12 others. Again, this is in connection with the Roel Degamo murder happened back in March.
But the Anti-Terrorism Council, now that they've released the resolution a week later, it actually also ties all these election and political related violence in the province of Negros Oriental, all tying it to a Congressman Tevis. Again, facts of the case is that, as Congressman Tevis repeatedly tells us, he has no arrest warrant. There are no charges filed. But the Justice Department did say that, according to the Justice Department, you can be designated as a terrorist either before, after, or during another case. So it's a completely different matter altogether.
Well, Congressman Tevis was in a press conference this afternoon, and he said this was political persecution.
Which he's been saying for a while now, since he was implicated in the murder.
That's true.
But I think what changes this, girls, is that they were saying before, when they passed the anti-terror law, that things like this could happen and it could be used in such a manner. Of course, we didn't realize it would happen.
You mean
so
before
fast.
a judgment has even been passed, before he's even been
tried, or even
and
cases
found
have been
guilty.
filed.
Yeah, correct.
So it has been weaponized.
As we have mentioned, it's not just Congressman Tevis, though, that's being tagged a terrorist. His brother, former Negros Oriental Governor Pride Henry, has also been designated one. The alleged co-mastermind in the killing, Marvin Miranda, was also named. There's also Hannah May Oray, who was one of Teves' employees that got arrested during one of the police raids in their compound. The rest are men accused of having a hand in the killing of Governor Degamo.
And if you missed the details on this, here's why Tevis and 12 others have been declared terrorists. In their resolution dated July 26, the Anti-Terror Council said that Tevis led his so-called armed group to carry out the attack against Governor Roel Degamo. The report noted that one of the suspects in the killing is a former member of the New People's Army. The council also took into consideration the initial statements of the suspects implicating Teves. The suspects have since taken back their testimonies, but the Justice Department says they have a strong enough case against Teves. There's also the firearms and explosives found in the sugar mill owned by the Teves family. But with all of these evidence, members of the Anti-Terror Council said that there is reason to believe that killings in Negros cannot be taken as isolated incidents.
These killings reveal an unmistakable pattern of being meticulously planned and executed to ensure the maximum effect on the population of Negros Oriental. The killings, abuses, and the acquisition of high-powered firearms and explosives as independent and isolated crimes, because these acts are not committed just to cause injury to people or to grab property. These violent acts were motivated by the underlying objectives to intimidate the residents of Negros Oriental.
Let's backtrack a bit and get the basis for this terrorist tag on Congressman Tevis. The Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020 defines terrorism as acts committed within or outside the country with the purpose to intimidate, create or send a message of fear, or to provoke influence by intimidation. Acts include those that cause death or injuries. Teves and 12 others also allegedly violated Section 6 of the anti-terror law, which covers planning, training, and preparation to commit a terror crime. The Justice Department has said that Teves facilitated an elaborate scheme to carry out the murder. The council also cited violations to Section 10 on recruitment to a terrorist group. As mentioned, Teves is being accused of leading a private armed group to execute the killing. Section 12, covering material support to terrorists, was also cited. The Anti-Terror Council has raised in its memo the weapons found in the Tevez family compound, which they believe to be incriminating evidence. Despite this, Tevez cannot be arrested. There is still no arrest warrant out for him since there has been no formal complaint filed as yet.
Designation can come first, pwede ding it can come after. Nagkataon lang naman dito na nauna ang desisyon ng ATC sa designation versus sa resolution ng mga prosecutors natin.
And after being tagged as a terrorist, the government has also moved to freeze the assets of Congressman Arnie Teves. This was confirmed by the Anti-Money Laundering Council at the Palace today, citing Section 26 of the Anti-Terror Act. The law states that the assets of the designated individual, groups of persons, organization, or association shall be subject to the authority of the Anti-Money Laundering Council to freeze pursuant to Section 11 of Republic Act 10168.
Congressman Arnie Teves is facing a separate battle at the House of Representatives. Our House correspondent Marian Enriquez is here to give us updates. Man, what's the latest on this?
Yes, Reg, the House Committee on Ethics will continue its discussion on the next course of action against Tevez. But what's for sure is that the lower house will take into consideration the memo of the Anti-Terror Council declaring Tevez as a terrorist. One option could be expulsion. This is the highest sanction that could be imposed. But again, this is still uncertain for now. The lower house says due process will be observed, although they continue to urge Tevez to come home to explain himself before the panel. But as Congressman Arnie Teves himself said, returning to the Philippines is not an option, given the supposed threat to his life. Reg.
Thanks for that update, Marian Enriquez. All right, well, here to talk about this issue, we have on the line none other than former Negros Oriental Governor, Pride Henry Tevez. Governor, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
I'm not going to beat around the bush. You heard our reporting about the matter. May I hear your side of the story, please?
Well, came as a really as a surprise to me, and until now, I and my direct family are still absorbing the news, no? And according to everything that you said, it really made life much tougher for us. It's very tough as it is now, you know, being in agribusiness, wherein the business climate for agribusiness is not so good as of the moment with ASF and feed costs very high. With this thing that our bank account will also be affected, it will really make life really harder for my direct family. Yet I have no choice. I have to continue moving on. I need to do my daily grind. As I still have a family to support. I still have a grade 10 youngest daughter to send to school. So life goes on. I'm really worried because it really is affecting my wife and my children.
Right. Former Governor, you already said, and it's been reported in all the papers now, that you plan to appeal this. Your lawyers have said the same. Have you figured out exactly where you can make this appeal, or if this is indeed appealable? Because in the earlier statements you made, you still have been trying to figure out this is all very new. The law itself is rather new. Have you figured things out now, the next steps?
Well, I was just informed by my lawyers, because I'm not a lawyer myself, that there are still administrative remedies which you can appeal to. I think there's a delisting request or anything. Then after that, I think you can move to the Court of Appeals if I am. I don't know if I am right, but that is the way to go. But before anything else, it has to go first to administrative remedies on the council itself. I think we have a remedy we have a window for appeal.
Right. Former Governor, have your assets really been frozen? I think about an hour and a half ago, reports have come out that the Anti-Money Laundering Council has already frozen bank accounts and assets. Have you confirmed this?
I believe it is true. I was informed by some of my you know, finance people that some accounts have been frozen. So it is what it is. I just have to live with it and continue with life.
Governor, we all know that this stems from Congressman Arnie's implication in the Roel de Gamo murder. And he says a while ago that this is, and he has been saying it is political persecution. Do you think your family is being ganged up upon? Yung mga sinight po nila na meron daw po kayong grupo na pinapatakbo dyan for the killings. Ano po masasabi niyo po doon?
Well, sa akin lang, no, I have been in public service for 20 years before I stepped down last October. And my record will speak for itself, but I have also been very consistent. I've always been law-abiding. I was never charged with anything. I am never a violent person. I don't even say bad things toward other people because I don't like to cause hurt to someone else. I have always been consistent for that. And it's ironic now that I used to be a victim of terrorism. Now, I am the one tagged as a terrorist. So it really pains me a lot. It really pains me.
Yeah. Governor, tingin nyo nadamay lang ba kayo dito? Kasi mostly si Rep. Arnie naman talaga yung pinupunteriya. What do you think? Why were you involved in this whole thing?
If you remember, ma'am, when the issue started, I already opened up everything. I volunteered to waiver all my bank accounts, my communications, emails, phones, so that they can see the persons I've been talking to for the last several years, the monies that come through and go out of my bank accounts, who I do business with, all my emails. I already wavered that when it started so that I can be cleared and they can see that, you know, I'm not a part of this. But I just don't know why. After that, my bank accounts still were ordered frozen. So I'll have to talk to Melos about it. Because as I said, I cooperated. I never left. And every time that they asked for me, I was there. I answered all the questions truthfully. And I opened myself up. I did not hide anything. Wala naman ako itinatago eh. I have nothing to hide.
And then lastly, where is Representative Teves, Representative Arnie now? Are you at liberty to tell us, or at least tell us what his current state is?
Well, he's definitely abroad, no? But I talk to him once in a while. I called me up this morning to check on how I was. And of course, I told him the truth. I am really down, and I am really, you know, unhappy, and I'm really depressed because all these have happened. No, I'm not the guy who's wallowing in money. I cannot just retire. I still have a family to support, and things are making it very hard this way now. But as I said, life goes on.
He has no plans of returning?
He was mentioning it a few weeks back, but I don't know if how it proceeds, because we also use different law officers, right? I have my own lawyer. He has his own defense. I'm just by myself with a different lawyer also. So I really have no idea now what their plans are.
Okay, fair enough. We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, former Negros Oriental Governor Pride Henry Teves.
Up next, despite extensive damage caused by Typhoon Egay, President Bong Marcos insists there's enough buffer stock of rice in the country. The details when we return. Stay with us. You're also watching the big story here on One News. Bakit nga ba sobrang tumaas yung tubig baha sa Bulacan? Narinig natin yan, Bulacan, Pampanga,
One of the
Zambales.
worst hits, yeah.
But we all know that it's always been flooding in Bulacan, but it seems that there are more areas now. Well, local officials are pinning the blame on some big-ticket infrastructure projects in the province. For one, Malolos City Mayor Gretchen said the ongoing construction of the North-South Commuter Railway is blocking the drainage of floodwaters in the area. The DOTR and the NSCR project manager have yet to respond to our team's request for comment. The local government of Malolos is now eyeing to conduct an investigation into the railway's construction.
Anong araw po, sir, yung kaltariyan dito, inilulubog. Nung ginagawa itong PNR ito, lalo na lumubog, lahat na dadaanan na mga hindi na makakuha ng mga tubig.
Kung babasahin mo yung batas natin, bawal na bawal po na magtabon, magpaliit o magliko ng walang paalam sa tamang ehensya ng gobyerno. Nasaan ang paalam nito? Ba't nila ginanyan yan?
Meanwhile, Bulacan 2nd District Representative Tina Pancho called on San Miguel Corporation to present a flood control plan for its ongoing development of the Bulacan Airport. Pancho says plans should be automatically presented ahead of any infrastructure project.
Ang tendency po niya, pag yan po ay nagtambak, isusuka sa amin ang tubig, ibubuga sa amin ang tubig. Kaya nga po ang sinasabi namin, baka pwede bigyan kami ng flood control or management plan. At maski po, yung ibang establishmento na itatayo sa bypass, magbigay. Para makita naman po ng LGUs kung saan yung direksyon na tatakbo ang tubig.
So how did San Miguel respond to this call for a flood control plan? Let's bring in Mon Gualvez for the answer. Mon, what do you have?
Regina, San Miguel Corporation clarifies that it has been taking steps to minimize flooding in areas near the construction of Bulacan Airport. The firm notes that they focused on creating deep trenches that will serve as passageway for flood waters should nearby rivers overflow. SMC says they started this initiative back in October last year and stepped up their efforts in March. They added that they have also conducted cleanup operations in affected areas. Meanwhile, to lessen floods, Locals says that the government should focus on creating a pumping station in the province instead of elevating the roads. They say that the alliances made up of residents from coastal towns and cities of Bulacan have been requesting for this since 2010. Regina.
Thanks for that, Mon Gualvez.
And just days after their impressive FIFA Women's World Cup campaign, it has been announced that Alen Stajcic will no longer return as coach of the Filipinas. Team manager Jeff Cheng said that Stajcic and his assistant Nawel Ararte are not going to return after their contracts expired at the end of the World Cup campaign. The two will reportedly explore their other options following their stint with the Filipinas. The Australian tactician was brought in late 2021, which proved to be the right move as he steered the national team to new heights over the past 2 years. The peak of it came during the World Cup when the Filipinas produced a historic 1-0 win over co-host New Zealand. With Stich gone, the Filipinas will have to figure out the next important step before the Asian Games and the Olympic qualifying tournament in the coming months.
Well, the Filipinas are set to arrive in the country by tomorrow morning, but right now we are lucky to have with us live via Zoom sisters Chandler and Olivia McDaniel, fresh off their FIFA World Cup campaign.
Woo-hoo! Yes.
Good
Congratulations.
Good evening, ladies. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight on The Big Story. And may I just say we are very, very proud of you alongside the rest of the country. What's it been like for you guys?
I think it's just been kind of crazy going in New Zealand and somewhere new and getting to be together with the team, but getting to produce such amazing and historic, a historic win. And, it's just been really incredible to be able to play for our country and to make everyone so proud of us. And that's really all we wanted.
Yeah, the support from all the Filipinas fans, whether they were in New Zealand or watching from home, we felt it all, and we loved playing for you guys, and we're happy that we were able to bring home a win and do well.
Olivia and Chandler, it's been an emotional roller coaster for your team. I mean, that historic win against New Zealand, you know, brought the whole country together, rejoicing for you. But also that loss against Norway, 0-6, 6 goals passing through. Where is your heart at right now?
I mean, yeah, nobody likes to lose 6-0, especially as a goalkeeper. It's tough, but I mean, just thinking back to how important it was to even, be there as a team has just been so amazing. And I'm just full of pride for the team and how far we've come and getting to play against such amazing talent and amazing athletes who are the best in the world. It's just an honor, and we can only hope to be at that level one day. And so we just need to continue to work hard. But still, I'm just so happy and proud to be a part of this team.
Chandler?
Yeah, I agree with Olivia. Of course, the loss wasn't what we wanted, but I still think that we should be proud of all we've done this tournament. And I think that we've accomplished a lot as a team. And I think that it's still something that we're all very happy about. So I think the overall tournament was a real success for us.
Right, you girls rather, have a pretty full roster up ahead, such a bunch of tourneys still to be played. And of course, this is all going to happen without Coach Alen and Nawel, who are reportedly leaving their team due to the end of their contracts. And we know how vital they were to the success of the Filipinas. What's the game plan now, and where's the team headed? Are there talks already of who your new coach will be?
Yeah, I mean, that's not really up for us to say. I mean, that's up to our management. So we're not sure what direction that's going to go in. But all we know is we still want to play and be a part of this team. And if we get the call up for Asian Games and for Olympic qualifiers, we're going to be there no matter what. So just looking ahead, I'm still 100% going to be a part of the Filipinas no matter what. So I'm just excited to continue this journey that we're on.
Well, we're excited to receive both of you guys along with other members of the team here in the Philippines. What's up next on your calendar? Where can we see you guys, and how much time off do you have before the Asian Games?
Well, we fly into Manila tomorrow morning, so some of the girls will be around. I know that they have a bunch of media stuff scheduled for us, so we should be seeing you guys there.
In person!
Yes, in person.
Yeah. We're very excited. Excited to be home. Yeah.
Fantastic. We look forward to having you live with us in studio very, very soon. Thank you so much for joining us, Filipinas' Chandler and Olivia McDaniel. Just a quick break now, but more stories when we return. Keep it here on The Big Story. Welcome back. You're still watching the big story here on One News. Is there enough rice supply in the country amid the massive agricultural damage left by Super Typhoon Egay in northern Luzon? Well, according to President Bong Marcos, the Agriculture Department does have enough buffer stock. Earlier today, Marcos met with DA officials to discuss the effects of Egay on rice production in the country, as well as ways to ensure a sufficient supply of rice. The president, however, did mention that the government is carefully examining certain agricultural inputs concerning the effects of Egay to prevent any significant increase in the market price of rice. He also mentioned that they discussed the department's plans for creating buffer stock in response to the El Nino phenomenon.
Mukha naman, sa ngayon, the supply is okay. Gagawa na kami ng schedule kung saan tayo kukuha ng production, kung saan tayo bibili dito sa local, kung kailangan mag-import, mag-import na naman tayo.
Now, while supply may be enough, the retail price of rice in the country is expected to go up again in the coming weeks. Why is that exactly? Let's bring in Shaila Francisco for the details. Shaila, what do you have?
Shawn, according to Agri Group Sinag, prices of rice in other countries are on an upward trend, causing a hike in the price of imported rice in the Philippines. This also influences the price of local rice. The DA attributes this to higher production costs, particularly concerning fertilizers and petroleum. As of now, there are no specific details released yet regarding President Marcos's plan for rice importation. The DA, however, is urging traders to release the remaining stocks in the market. It is currently also talking with local farmers and local cooperatives to help increase the buffer stock of National Food Authority, which is currently at around 1 million sacks. The agency is hoping to reach its target of around 6 million bags, or equivalent to 9 days worth of the consumption in the country. Shawn?
Thank you for that, Shaila Francisco. Now, before we go, here is our big picture for tonight. This would actually look much better in a video because this giant X, which no longer marks the spot of the headquarters of the company formerly known as Twitter, has been taken down. This new X logo was removed just a few days after it was installed on the roof of the company's headquarters in San Francisco. The reason being that the logo's pulsing and strobing lights, which neighbors described as intrusive. Over the weekend, the city building department logged 24 complaints on the logo's flashing lights. X said that the removal was voluntary.
Parang pa-party, ano?
Grabe, parang nasa club.
Diba? Club or something about space. I don't know how this reflects the evolution of Twitter as
All
a
I can
platform.
say is I miss Twitter. I miss the blue bird. The white bird, sorry. White bird on blue background.
And that's it for the show tonight.
We're One News, all sides, all the time.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.